Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to take a piece of double knit fabric that's knit in a single color and join two pieces like that together in a Kitchener stitch. So you might want to do this if you're making a purse strap, for example. It's a little more finished looking than sewing things together. So you see here I have one side of the fabric and it looks precisely like the other. This effect is created by knitting one stitch and slipping the next stitch purlwise. So to do a Kitchener stitch with two pieces of fabric like this to join them, you're going to basically have to take apart your front and your back piece of the fabric, because when you work them on the needle, you're working them all together. So you're going to do this by slipping all of your knit stitches on the front onto a needle. I'm just putting these on here to kind of hold them in place. Alright. So I'm just going to slip that first stitch completely off. I'm going to pick up my second needle and catch the purl stitch. You notice I'm not twisting the stitches as I catch them. All I'm doing is slipping again the stitches of a kind onto a needle, onto separate needles. Alright. So if you don't flub this up, like I just did, there you go, what you'll end up with is basically a set of wrong sides facing inward with the appropriate knit stitches on each set of needles. Now in a regular Kitchener stitch, you would work these together like maybe for the toe of a sock. But what we're going to do today is take a second piece of fabric that has been set up the same way and join these to form one strap. So this is my working yarn here at the back of this piece of fabric, which I have already threaded with the tapestry needle. Yeah. What you're going to do is imagine these held on top of each other like this to find the appropriate needles to work with. So we're going to have two knit sides looking at each other in this fashion. So you set up the Kitchener stitch the way you would with any Kitchener stitch. It's a little bit tricky to work with the needles on the bottom, but you just have to pretend that they aren't there for now. I am not the world's best Kitchener stitcher, but I haven't found a tutorial on how to do this, which is why I'm making one for you. So the first thing you're going to do is insert the needle purlwise into your first stitch on your bottom needle, pull the yarn through, and then you're going to go up, leave that stitch on the needle, and on your back needle you're going to slip knitwise. Sorry, you're not going to slip knitwise, you're going to insert the needle knitwise, but you're going to, again, being careful with your yarn here, not to tangle it around the fabric. Leave that as it is, so it's slipped into the yarn knitwise. So now what you're going to do is repeat the basic Kitchener stitch pattern until you get to the end of this needle. So going to knit this stitch off the needle, insert purlwise. I can't give you advice about tension on this because, like I said, I'm still learning how to do this myself. But then you're going to go back, purl the stitch off the needle, and slip the yarn knitwise into the next. Alright, so you're going to continue this pattern all the way to the end. Alright, so when you get to the end, you've got these two stitches, final stitches set up to come off. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So you're going to take this one off the stitch all the way, get rid of this needle. Now hold that stitch on there. You've got to turn and figure out this piece of fabric that we were coming from is going to go to our bottom row. So this is the stitch that we're going to set up with the purl stitch. And then we're going to turn this back around, take what was our top stitch off the needle with a purl, just kind of pull the needle out and tighten that, and turn and set this up with a knit stitch. And once you turn the corner like that, you just continue working the Kitchener stitch across. And if you are better at figuring your tension out than I am, instead of a series of kind of crisscrossed stitches, you will end up with a series of straight stitches on both sides. So this is what it should look like on both sides. This one is a little messy on this side, but you can see the general effect. And you can just tie this working yarn off to your tail from your second piece and weave in those ends. And then you will have a double knit Kitchener stitch.